people saying, yeah, but it distracts from real work, it's not real, it's just people talking about the chicken they had for dinner last night. Yeah, but people said that about books too. What, are we going to condemn the entire Gutenberg revolution because people wrote porn and pulp fiction novels? By the way, I love the movie Pulp Fiction. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the novels that generated the idea for that movie. No, the industry, the mechanics of it, the process is awesome. The fact that some idiots misuse it and they can't post enough stupid dog pictures. No disrespect to people who love dogs, by the way. And I know someone who really loves dogs, but it's like the relentless little Poochie Terrier pictures by the thousands is a little bit much, because I don't know what that adds to my life, or even frankly your life, of posting all that stuff. Does not mean that the medium itself is bad. It's not. It's incredibly valuable if you know how to use it. And when you're building a personal, professional brand, this is the greatest gift that we've ever been given. I still think we're just at the very beginnings of, because people are going, is social media really such a big deal? And I'm someone who, by the way, I don't ever go to social media camp. I cannot stand that stuff. I cannot stand the process of people, because one of the things that drives me insane about business people who go to social media camp is, why don't you go to accounting camp? Why don't you go to marketing camp, or treat your employees well camp? Why is all this social, it's like, here's another motto, another slogan, the hammer is not the house. Don't mistake the tool for the product. Why do we all go to this, do you see a bunch of carpenters going to hammer conventions? No, it's just, Facebook is a tool. It's something though that's seductive about it, it's glitzy, it's just complex enough to be complicated and just easy enough for anybody to get into it. There's something about social tools that have created this thing that's never existed before. I don't believe the monks of the 14th, 15th, and 16th centuries got together and did scribing conferences and scribing camp. How's your gold ink, dude? Oh, I love this special gold ink I use from... We didn't do that. So there's something about it that's a little odd. So I'm not a big fan of it on that level, but as a society, business, career transforming tool, unbelievable. And the power of it, we're just literally, I think, to describe it as the tip of the iceberg isn't even doing it justice. Like, we're at the tip of the tip of the tip. Like, it's just a tiny little bit of what this is going to do. The biggest thing, by the way, people often miss the single biggest thing, is the fact that it is social. And by social, it's the same as a dinner party, which means that in good conversations, it's two people talking. That's what we've never had before. We've had media before, but it always pushed outwards. It's outbound media. Newspapers, radio, televisions, magazines, they're what I get to say and you get to read. There's no back. The cool thing about social is we get to do all of this stuff, including building our own brands, in conversation with others. That's the really, really cool part of it. And it can be in conversations with others who are not constrained, as I said at the very, very beginning of this, by time and space. It can be someone in Frankfurt tomorrow morning. It can be someone in Buenos Aires last night. It can be someone that lives down the street, but I don't even know that they live down the street, but they're on my Twitter account. That happened to me recently. One of my best clients in the last 3 years literally lives 7 houses from me. I had no idea what this woman did. She's one of the smartest PR, SEO, digital marketing people I've ever met. She's kind of a troll, which means that in my world, she's someone who lives in the basement and codes. She's a troll. Oh my God, she's smart. She lived like literally doors away. Was introduced through a common friend of ours. So there's again how you just have no idea. The time and space thing, you need to be in a boardroom or join Rotary or do all those other things. Yes, those things are still valuable, incredibly valuable, but they don't touch anymore the power that social media does. Okay, so number 1, images and stories. Learn to tell your own story and don't be afraid to make it personal. The degree to which you sanitize it is the degree to which you lose impact. Make it real, make it freaky. Does that include being rude and swearing? Sometimes. Know your audience, know what you get yourself into, and know you're not going to, even if you delete it, it's still going to be there. But sometimes, as you've noticed in my little talk here, I don't drop the odd little funny word into it by accident, I do it on purpose. There's not much I don't do on purpose, it's all done on purpose. So deliberately construct your brand and don't be afraid to push some edges. One of the things I tell people is, if you don't have people who hate you, you don't have a brand. You're just vanilla, you're unhateable. Which means you're also, by the way, unlovable. And in new marketing language, you are not sticky. Sticky is a big deal these days. It means that you're literally like, in terms of, it used to be called, it's just probably a new word for an old concept, front of mind is the old business language for it. When a business is front of mind to its consumers and customers. Nowadays it's called sticky because it connects that social piece to it. When you're boring, you're not sticky. Forget about you tomorrow. And these days, being sticky in people's minds, that slightly freaky guy who does that thing on Facebook, it's a little odd, but I can't seem to get him out of my head. The YouTube stuff goes viral every time he talks. It's a little weird, but it's still kind of fun to watch. And he actually, when you think about it, says some really interesting things. There's a reason why Seth Godin's head is bald. There's a reason why he's probably the single largest blogger on the planet. He's not just a blogger, by the way. I don't know, you read his background sometimes. He's an entrepreneur. He's got several giant multi-million-dollar companies that he's created and sold and moved on again. He's been extremely successful. He also happens to be incredibly articulate and funny. On his website, which is about as stripped down and bare bones, there's nothing fancy about it at all. One of the sidebars, a picture of Seth, not unlike this. I think it might even be this one. The little caption above it is, "To go on, click my head." Right? And it's like, that's not by accident. Right? It's on purpose. He knows that the bald thing and the weird glasses thing makes him slightly memorable. It's not done by accident. So don't be afraid to be a little freaky. The other one is images, and this is again where Pinterest comes in. Instagram, Facebook. Look at not only at the new platforms that have come out that are visual from the get-go, look at even platforms that started as generally text-based and have become more and more and more visual. Facebook is a great example, right? Particularly the way it shows up on mobile devices now, on tablets and phones. Picture hogs the entire screen now. Sometimes it's like so big you kind of scroll to get past the picture to see what the person said. Because now all of these platforms have decided that more than anything, the picture matters. So if you're going to deliberately construct your brand, deliberately construct pictures of yourself. Find photographers with an unusual take of things. The picture that I had in the beginning there was me in a barn in the North Couch in the summer. I did that on purpose, no tie. I can show you some earlier pictures that I used to use, different photographer, different business headshots. It's a progress, it's an evolution of my own personal brand that is reflected in the pictures that I choose to use of myself. And I use different photographers, different processes. Some are more relaxed, some are more formal, but they're done deliberately. So construct pictures of yourself. Realize that as much as blogging matters, your photos of what you do in life also matter. They really do. Who you hang out with, what you're tagged in, all of that kind of stuff. And the last thing I want to talk about is when all this works, you generate positive feedback loops. And what that means is, because this is social, when your brand, and this is a new word I haven't used yet, when your brand resonates, which means that it, without getting too weird about it, it vibrates on the same frequency. I can't even believe I'm using those words. I mean literally as in vibrates like music, like an actual plucked string, not in the universe is vibrating sense. It's not what I mean. I mean like actual vibration. When you resonate with your tribe, so now you're starting to see how the threads connect together. When you know who you are, when you know who the people are that you click with the best on this whole planet, and I don't mean just, companies, I mean groups of people who think and feel like you do, who kind of get what your perception of the world is like, and you start to post in alignment with those two realities, what happens to those people at the other end of the social side who receive your posts? What do they do with it? If you've got a great post, what happens? It gets shared, right? That's when the positive feedback loop starts to happen. When you do it wrong, when it falls like a sinking stone in the water, you just created this great post, this great image, this great YouTube video, and you got like 3 hits. What happened there? Well, what happened there was either one of 3 things, but usually 2. You don't know who you are, and right off the hop, I'm looking at it going, looks fake. Right? Ever since Naomi Klein's No Logo, big attack on corporate branding decades ago, book came out late 70s, early 80s, something like that, there's been an understanding that we're tired of fake. And the social media world has just ripped that to pieces. Because we'll find out now within literally Twitter, within seconds, that a brand has just screwed up. Within seconds, we know that someone's just made a big, stupid mistake. So there's no hiding anymore. It happens instantaneously. So when your thing, we just sense fake right away. Thousands of people will put their thing on your Facebook post and go fake. When it's right, they pass it on, and you can use that as a signal to do what? When you post a certain kind of post and you're paying attention and people start to comment and you're engaged in this social dialogue and there's a thing that's starting to happen, what is that signal to you? What do you want to do?
Post more of that stuff.
Do it again. Don't deviate. That's the thing I said earlier, right? Figure out the one weird, freaky thing that you do. Oh, that's a little boring. I should try this other thing. No! If it clicked, if it resonated, and it went nuts, do it again. Do it again. Because something, there's a reason why it clicks. Psychologically, emotionally, socially, there's a reason why that just connected. Right? So you want to do it again. That's the positive feedback loop. When you're authentic, and you've honestly connected with people who get you and share the same values you do, and then they share your self, your brand, right? They're now talking about you when you're not in the room, you've hit pay dirt, either as a corporate brand or as a personal brand. So when all this works, you generate positive feedback loop. And a positive feedback loop is one in communication theory where you feed in a signal, then you step back and you can stop feeding in the signal. It just starts to loop. Does anybody know in the musical world what a positive feedback loop sounds like? Anybody in any acoustics here? Guitar squeal.
Yeah, the big squeal.
Amp squeal. You ever heard that? Wee! When someone does something weird with the microphone? That is a positive feedback loop. That's the sound going in the mic, through the speakers, back out the speakers, and back into the mic again. Right? So now it's looping like crazy, and it picks a certain frequency, drives that frequency through the roof, and you get squeal. So that sounds like a bad thing, and on a stage it is a bad thing, but in life, a positive feedback loop is a good thing. When your social audience picks up your signal and feeds it back to you, because that's what it can do now, right? In the old days, the best we could do that is letters to the editor. They sucked. Terrible. Although people often will read the Times letter to the editor because they're kind of fun to read, but that's all we had. Now, within seconds, I can repost, I can like, I can comment back to you, I can share with my friends. You've got instant feedback that the thing you just did resonated with somebody. So now you've got a positive feedback loop. You're going to feed out with more of exactly the same thing. And that's what you want to do as a brand. Okay. That's that. And the last question at the very end there. Answer that question for yourself. When you are not in the room, what will they say? 10 to 12. How are we doing for time, and like, what's the plan here?
You're welcome to have this for discussion or questions. Or we've got the room going in. I don't think there'll be any.
Yeah, and I've got to go see someone today. But if you've got questions, comments about anything, ask me. I love answering questions. I love having conversations. This is me like on Facebook, but there's like real people here. This is really cool. I can like your comment. Like. Yes?
How did you go from studying music to helping companies build?
You have to go to my website. It has all that stuff on it because it's a weird and freaky journey. I'm actually in David Rendell's book, Freak Factors. I'm one of his freaks. My freaky thing, and he was coaching me to help me understand this was, okay, because I did that. I went to the same exercise. What weird behavior